Here he wrote illusion, but delusion seems to be the better word. So I am deluded into believing many wrong things. You see, the moha has to be correctly appreciated. Moha comes from moha. Moha is the verb from which comes the word moha. Moha vaichitye. There is something and you mistake it to be something else. That is the moha. So this happens in our life, causing enormous suffering. So the standard example is Rajju Sarpa Bhrantihi. That is the moha. So you are looking at a rope, but you project a serpent. See, you are looking at a rope. Not able to see the rope is one thing, but seeing a serpent in its place is something else. Not able to see the rope is due to inadequate light, or the sight was a bit incomplete or whatever. For that reason you are not able to see the rope correctly. That is one thing. But the serpent where from it has come. So the serpent is put in place by the mind. That is why it is called projection. So in projection, what happens is you are looking at a thing and instead of seeing the thing as it is, you pull out something within your mind and put it there. That is called projection. Like in a cinema theatre, he projects the scenes onto the screen. And so you see all kinds of things on the screen which are not there. How do you see there? By projection. That's why it is called projector. So here, the mind is the projector. It projects a serpent and you see that serpent. And then the problem is when the mind has projected the serpent, it is, but now you should be able to see the serpent in the mind, because the serpent came from the mind, so you should be able to see the serpent within. But instead, you see the serpent without. So a serpent that has come from the mind is seen outside in the place of the rope. This is the delusion. A lot can be described about that delusion. Sometimes it is called adhyasa. Why adhyasa? Because there is something and you project something else. Adhi asa. Adhi upar. On that, you project something else. That is how you end up seeing the serpent. And this adhyasa or this delusion is the cause of fear. Sometimes even terror. So if the person is terrified of the serpent and he has a weak heart, he can get a heart attack. It is possible. People are afraid and out of fear they get all kinds of sickness. Most prominent of them is something related to the heart. Therefore, that fear that is there in our life is like this. There is no reason for fear, but we live with fear. That is delusion. Like Rajasarpa Bhranti. So this kind of a delusion has pervaded my life and I was cheated all these years by delusion. So what is the kind of delusion that we live in? There is a thing called self-forgetfulness. Means you forget yourself. You forget yourself. What happens is, I told you, when you are looking at the diamond, so then you are greedy about the diamond, then you forget the basic truth that you are able to see the diamond in that light, which is yourself. And therefore, you are superior, not the diamond. You are superior. Certainly not the diamond. But you believe that the diamond is superior. That is the delusion. That leads to greed. And people commit murders for the sake of a piece of stone. Because they believe that the piece of stone, that is what it is a piece of stone. And they believe that it is valuable. Is that valuable? In that given context, is the piece of stone valuable, or you, the one who sees the piece of stone? Your awareness, which is valuable. Your awareness is valuable. And the piece of stone has value, and where from that value came? The value that you give to the piece of stone, is it intrinsic to the piece of stone? Cannot be, because as we call it, it is merely a piece of stone. There are pieces of stones everywhere, all around. How can that be valuable? But this is entirely a projected value. You project a value to the diamond, to the piece of stone, and therefore it seems valuable. It appears valuable. And in that delusion, we forget ourselves. So, this is how it happens. Sometimes these things are difficult to explain. Every time you are attached to an outer thing, every time. The outer thing could be a thing, a physical object, you are attached to it. Like you are attached to gold, or a diamond, or a gemstone. You call it stone and yet get attached to it. You see that? You call it stone. You see, once I was in Manhattan and a diamond merchant was my friend. I did not beat him off late. He offered me a diamond. I said, I am not interested. Because I did not find any value in it. It is not I, only I am saying that. So, suppose gold, I do not see any worth in gold. I see a lot of worth in myself instead of seeing gold in worth in gold. Suppose you see value in gold. Now, where are you focused now? You are focused on the gold. You are focused on the diamond and gemstones. In the process, your knowledge of yourself is lost. You forget yourself. So the point that I am trying to make is, unless you forget yourself, you cannot be interested in any outer things. The fact that you are interested in outer things proves that you are unaware of yourself. So you forget yourself. This is what is called self-forgetfulness. When you say, I am interested in a movie, you forget yourself. I am interested in gold, you forget yourself. I am interested in diamonds, etc., you forget yourself. I am interested in some art form, you forget yourself. I am interested in this or that beautiful thing. So you believe that beauty is outside. So that physical beauty, you are attached to the physical beauty, and in the process you forget yourself. You run after the physical beauty. So, and then all kinds of things of the world, and you forget yourself. This is the self-forgetfulness. And when you forget yourself and you start giving value to the outer things, that is the delusion. Self-forgetfulness is darkness. So, thereby we get absorbed in other things. In the non-self, we get absorbed. That is the moha. We get absorbed in the non-self. Then, you see, forgetting the self is the greatest injury. You forget the self. That is the worst thing in life. All sorrow flows from self-forgetfulness. You see, you forget yourself and give value or importance to the outer thing. And when that is lost, you have lost nothing. It is not a loss at all. Suppose a piece of stone, gemstone you lose, you have not lost anything. Because you the awareful being, can never be lost. That awareness which is very intrinsic to you, You can never lose it. It is ever shining. So there is nothing to gain by gaining the outer things. There is nothing to lose by losing the outer things. Suppose you are aware of yourself, you are conscious, you know yourself, then these ideas of gain and loss become irrelevant. But unfortunately, in our life there is so much sorrow flowing from this gain and loss situation, and we remain in ignorance of the self. Ignorance, it is very painful because it is at the root of every single desire and fear. So desire and fear are very painful states, and we put ourselves in those painful states because of self-ignorance, because our focus is not on the self. Instead, our focus is on the other things. Therefore, this is how we get deluded. You try this, you keep a thing that you like very much, a valuable thing before you, and then because you are attached to it, you are focused upon it, you consider it as important, you look at it as mine, that sense of possessiveness. I possess it, like that you look at it. You do that, in the whole process, your entire attention is fixed on it, and you are not there. You look at that situation. In that situation, you are not there. Only the thing is there. You are not there. This is what is called self-forgetfulness. You are getting my point? You are not there. You are lost, as though. That is called self-forgetfulness. Then, suppose you keep the thing there, you are watching it, but then, even while looking at it, you look at yourself. Just you look at yourself and see what happens. The thing, it moves out of focus and it doesn't appear valuable anymore. And the question of desiring it does not arise. Suppose you are, this is kind of a window shopping. Suppose you are looking at a valuable thing in the shop. They put some valuable jewelry, etc. In the window, but there is a glass and you can see it on the other side of the glass. And you are walking on the footpath and you can see that the jewelry and all that. Suppose you are looking at it. When do you desire that? When a desire comes, when does a desire arise in your mind? When you forget yourself and get absorbed in the thing, then desire comes. And desire is a painful state. Suppose, even while looking at it, I do not forget myself. I am not absorbed in the thing to such an extent that I forget myself. No. I look at it, but I am conscious of myself as the awareful being. Even while looking at it, then you are looking at it, but the desire doesn't arise. And therefore, you don't put yourself in a painful state. So, you see, this is how the desire and the fear arise in us. Any moment a desire is rising in you or a fear is coming in you, that moment, if you become alert and be aware of yourself, myself, I am, be aware of yourself. If you do that, that thing vanishes or disappears from the focus, and the desire or fear, it is nipped in the bud, and you remain as you are. Now, that is called wisdom. The opposite of it, when you see a thing, you forget yourself, get absorbed in the thing completely, to the level of forgetting yourself, and then a desire comes out of that kind of a focus on the outer thing. and the desire leads to fear. So this is how we live an entire life, in self-forgetfulness. That is the delusion. Then the delusion can be explained in a few other ways, like you see a thing called happiness. Seeking happiness, desiring happiness, nothing wrong with it. It is your birthright. Freedom is my birthright. That is what Balaganadhara said. Not in a political context he said it. It is applied to a political context, but he said it in a philosophical context. Freedom is my birthright. Now, freedom is love. Freedom is happiness. So happiness is your birthright. Nobody can deny that. But the delusion is when you believe that happiness comes into you from outside. That is the single biggest delusion in the world. It is the most unfortunate thing to see that people believe that they get happiness from the outside into the inside. This delusion has many forms. Somebody believes that wealth will bring happiness to him. Wealth. That's why we worship God in the form of wealth. And we glorify wealth. We give some very interesting names to wealth and glorify it, give a religious sanction or sanctity to it and worship it. Can you believe it? Did it ever occur to you that in Vedanta they talk of wealth as something not to be pursued, and at the same time we worship wealth as a god? The contradiction, did you ever notice it? Might not have noticed it, this contradiction. So, Shankara says in one place, what is called Kaupina Panchakam, Shriyamapi Kanthamiva Utsayantaha Kaupinavantah Khalu Bhagyavantah. So, these people with a loin cloth, they are the real wealthy people. For them, the wealth, Shri, wealth, is as useless as an old torn out piece of garment. Shriyamapi Kanthamiva Kutsayanta. Can you believe it? That is what that is the attitude of Shankara towards wealth. And we claim ourselves to be students of Vedanta. What kind of attitude we have towards wealth? We love wealth, we are attached to the wealth to such an extent that we worship wealth itself as God. Amazing. That's why when such a worship goes on, I objected to it. You cannot worship like that. You cannot. So, why are we after wealth so much? Why? What is there in it in wealth? It gives us happiness. That is the delusion number one. Wealth doesn't give happiness. Artham anartham bhavaya nityam. Nasti tata sukhalesha satyam. You must have heard, this is Bhajagovinda shloka. You see, these contradictions are amazing contradictions. So, we sing the Bhajagovinda shlokas, sing them. And we have great singers like Subbalakshmi or whosoever. These singers, they sing Bhajagovinda. And then we purchase those CDs and we put them and listen to them because they are very, they are sung with a lot of nice music, nice to hear. But it doesn't occur to them what is it he is saying. So, Arthama, you see, I ask you a question. Suppose somebody wants to give me, suppose, $1 million. What should I do? Suppose. You know what should I do? I should say, no, thank you. Why? Because I want to remain happy. Really, I want to remain. Somebody asked me, we have a 5 acres piece of land, you take it. I said, no. Why? What happened to you? I want to remain happy. So, I means not the Swami, but generally I am saying. Therefore, this is the delusion. Namely, the wealth will give happiness to us. That is the delusion. And then the other people would give happiness to us. This is called attachment. This attachment is such a grand delusion it is that we suffer from attachment all through the life. Just before the person breathes his or her last, the person is having the pangs of attachment. What is attachment? Attachment is you connect with a person in a given relationship, whatever that father, son or wife, husband, whatever. There are multiple relations, Multiple means not too many also. Primarily 4 or 5 relations are there. Parent relation, parent-child relation, wife-husband relation, brother-sister, that kind of a few, 3 or 4 men. So in a given relation, like wife-husband or father-son or whatever, in a given relation, you experience suffering, pain or sorrow because you expect to derive happiness in that relation. I expect to become happy as I relate to you. So how will I become happy? When the other person is favorable to me, talks in my favor, acts in my favor, then I will be happy. Means now I have mortgaged my happiness to the relation. By chance, if the other person doesn't act in my favor, it is not possible to act in favor of a person whole life. The other person acts slightly different, not in my favor, not so much in my favor. Acts in favor of somebody else. Slightly, instead of looking at me, looks at somebody else. Something like that. Or says something which is not so much in my favor. Immediately, I become unhappy. So that means the other person must dance to my tune. Then only I can be happy. That is the relation. This is how father relates to the son. This is how husband and wife relate to each other. What a delusion it is. Means you can see that. It is so crystal like daylight. You have mortgaged to the happiness to the other person. Now the other person should be blessing you continuously. Then only you can be happy. If the other person forgets to bless you, you are not happy anymore. I don't know. I heard somewhere, if the person doesn't say good morning, honey, she becomes unhappy. Something to that extent I have heard. Now, every day, good morning, honey, you may be saying, but one day you may forget. And then the other person becomes unhappy. Do you see that? What a thing it is. In these relationships, you have to put the Guru and the Shishya also. This Guru-Shishya relationship is as complex and as painful as any other relationship. If the Guru, Shishya goes to the Guru, and the Shishya expects the Guru to bless in a particular way, and if the Guru is tired or whatever, he fails to bless the expected way, the Shishya becomes unhappy. And then Shishya fails to revere the Guru in a particular way, The Guru expects. There are some Gurus, my God. If they don't get what they expect, they become furious. Means the Guru's happiness depends upon the Shishya's conduct. Can you believe it? What a delusion it is. This is a crazy world, I tell you. It's a crazy world. Such a daylight-like thing. Namely, in a relation, I am mortgaging my, I cannot find a better word than that. Therefore I am saying it again and again. I am mortgaging my happiness to the other person in the name of a relationship. This is delusion. Okay? Then there is one more delusion that we will discuss it further. When we go to the next, second, third verse, we will discuss it there. We will discuss it there. The delusion is the God that you worship, or you want to worship, or you worship. The God that you are devoted to is outside of you and far away. This is the very grand delusion. And this delusion is the origin of pilgrimage. The pilgrimage, the way it is practiced in modern times. You see, you go into the nature to be in touch with the nature, to lose yourself in the glory of nature. And that is equivalent to God realization. That is not pilgrimage. You don't call that pilgrimage, right? That is different. Here pilgrimage is you take a train or a bus or a flight or whatever and go to a place and go to a temple. There you join the queue and push the person ahead of you. And if for some tickets, they sell tickets. To see God, they put a ticket. If you go to a church, they invite you inside. They may not, the mosque people won't allow you inside, I think so. But I went to a synagogue, they invited me inside and gave me a seat, a prime seat there, to sit and watch their proceedings. I go to these cathedrals all the time, they are open. And you can go inside and sit and light a candle, you can do. And after lighting the candle, if you want to put $1, you can, or you need not even put. There won't be anybody to observe you. And then you can go there and the pulpit will be there, everything will be there. You can sit or stand, you can meditate, you can pray, you can do anything. They won't stop you. But if you go to a temple, you have to purchase a ticket. Like a cinema hall, if you go to a cinema hall, the movie theatre, you have to purchase a ticket. Some small ticket or a big costlier ticket. And there also, there are tickets graded. So smallest ticket, you have to stand in a bigger line. You purchase a costlier ticket, you can stand in a smaller line. Like that they conduct these temples. When I look at these temples, they are centers of commerce. Amazing. You need some money to run the place, I understand that, but that is different from running it as a center of commerce. They are two different things. Amazing. And so you believe that to know God or to see God, you have to go there. You believe that. God is outside of you, away from you, at a given place. What a delusion. So this is how, in our life, in our relation to the physical things, we are deluded. In our relation to other people of the family and the community, we are deluded. And in our relation to the God that we worship with devotion, we are deluded. Oh, what a thing it is. Whole life is gone in this delusion. Now I realize. That is what the verse is. Okay? So we will discuss these things further and further. Let us say the verse and conclude it. Aho niranjana shantaha bodhoham prakrute paraha एतावन्तमहं कालं मोहेनैव विडम्बितः यथा प्रकाशयाम्येकः देहमेनं तथा जगत् अतो मम जगत् सर्वम् अथवा न च किंचन. So a jnani is explaining his relation with the world. He realizes the soul. He looks at the world in this way. You see, like a wise man, he comes, say, to your home, and you invite him, and he stays with you, you offer him food, him or her, and he partakes of the food that you give, and then he spends a little time with you and with your family members, and converses with all of you lovingly, and says a few nice things, and sometimes imparts some wisdom also. He loves you entirely, right? And then when the time comes, he walks away. So means what? 1 minute before, he looks at all of you as his family. You are all his people 1 minute before. 1 minute later, he doesn't even know you. He is not even remotely connected to you. You are nobody to him. He walks away. Could you see that? So he can say, you are all my people. He can say. And then it is as though he says, you are nobody as far as I am concerned. And he walks away. This is how a wise man conducts himself or herself, a wise person. So, all are my people, none are my people. In one moment, all are my people. In the next moment, none are my people. For example, it can be in a different situation. The money in your pocket is my money. I spend it very carefully because it is my money. If it is not my money, if it is your money, I need not be so careful about it. You spend it, you want to burn it, go ahead and burn it. Why should I care? It is not my money, it is your money. No, it is not like that. It is my money. Therefore, I am very cautious how that money in your pocket is spent by you for yourself or even on my behalf. Because it is my money, I have to be very cautious about it. But then, the next moment, no money is my money. So, it is all mine, none is mine. This is how a jnani looks at this world. This world is outer, is the other, it is anatma, it is unreal. Nothing of this world is mine. And then in a different context, all this world is mine. All of it is mine. None of it is mine. Both are there. So, you know what is the difference between a jnani and an ajnani or a samsari? Ajnani and samsari, one and the same. What is the difference, you know? The difference is, a jnani says, all are my people. The samsari says, a few are my people. Select few are my people. A jnani says, none is my people. Nobody is my person. I am alone. Aham ekah. I am alone. So, that is how a jnani says. Says or lives that aham ekah. I am alone. I come alone into this world and I leave this world alone. I don't bring anything into this world. I don't take anything and I go out of this world. I come naked and I go naked. I come alone, I go alone. Therefore, none of this world is mine. None of these people are my people. I am alone. That is what he says. And then he says, all are my people. The entire world is my world. Sarvatma bhava. Oh, this thing, it will go. Better today, not to disturb it, or should I throw it? Okay, yes. So, you see, you can understand, suppose you have had a dream. In the dream, the things of the dream, you wake up from the sleep and now you look back at your dream world. The dream world, which of that dream world is yours? None. It is not, none of it is my world. But at the same time, all the dream world is your world. You have created that dream. It is all your world. But because it is unreal, none of it is your world. So that is the jnani. Whereas the samsari, some of it is mine, the rest of it is not mine. Some of it I like, the rest of it I don't like. So like that, you divide it. In dividing, you get trapped. If you don't divide, you say, none of it is mine, you are liberated. Or you say, all of it is mine, you are liberated. When you say, a part is mine, you are stuck, you are bound. That is the difference between a jnani and a samsari. So, generally, people are afraid of the world. People are afraid of the world because the world appears alien to them. It is not, only a small part of it is mine. The rest, it is not mine. It is not me, it is not mine. A small part is me and mine. And therefore, when you create such a division and you put yourself in that smaller part, then the rest of the universe stands opposite to you and that appears alien to you. And therefore, we are afraid of the world. Suppose you say, even this small part is also not mine, none of it is mine, then there is no occasion for any fear. And you say, all of it is mine, then there is no occasion for any fear. So that is the fundamental difference between a jnani and an ajnani. So it can be described slightly differently. See, these verses are not easy to explain. It takes a lot of effort to put them, to put some sense into that, you know. A samsari's world is a fragmented world. That is what it is, fragmented world. Fragmented means this much land is mine, the rest of the world is not mine. That is the fragmentation. This much wealth is my wealth, the rest of the wealth is not my wealth. Fragmentation. These few are my people, the rest of the people are not my people. This caste is my caste, the other caste not my caste. This religion is my religion. The other religions are not my religions. They are somebody else's religion. This is called fragmentation. So this profession is my profession. The other professions are not my professions. So this is the fragmentations. So an ajnani's world is mind-made. It is very subjective. See, you think you live in a world which is objective. It is not. You don't live in an objective world. You live in a subjective world. For example, you look at a building and say, it is my house. Is it subjective or objective? It is subjective. The moment you have put my to that, it becomes subjective. So, a samsari lives in a subjective world, means the world produced by his own imagination. That's why, if you carefully observe, what you call the immediate. The immediate money, these are the things that I possess, these are my possessions, these are my people, this is my profession, this is my career, this is my body, this is my life, this is my religion, this is my God. That is the immediate. Right? And that is the world in which you live. That is the world. You want to add something more to it? I have covered most of it. That is the world in which you live. And that world is not real. That is not the real world. That is entirely subjective, mind-made, imaginary world. And very fragmented world. We live in a division, in fragmentation. That is how we live. Whereas, it is, you can describe this world in which a samsari lives as a personal world. It is not an impersonal world, it is a personal world. And also, the world that a person lives in, the world that you live in, it hangs by the thread of memory. Without memory, you don't have your world. Your world is entirely manufactured by the memory. This fact is exploited by some of the movie directors, especially in India. You must have seen some such movie in our childhood. I have seen such movies. The person, he loves a young lady, he gets married to her. They are all well-to-do people, rich, and life is going very smoothly and happily, and having one or two children, a great profession and great recognition in the society, and suddenly there is a car accident. The movie, okay? And then all the people are in the hospital now, and this person is sitting on the bed. There is a bandage around his head with a red spot. This person is exactly the same as earlier. Only one band with a red spot. And now he looks at his father and does not recognize him as father. Wife comes to him. He says, "Who are you?" The lady wants to put his hand on him. He moves back. "Hey, come on, what are you doing?" And the children come to him. He says, "Who are you?" So that means now the doctor comes. One character actor with a stethoscope and white coat, he comes. So he lost his memory. And how to regain that memory? So there must be one more accident. So you must have seen such a picture. Now the storyteller and the director, they build a movie, a script around this fact, namely what you call your world, it just hangs by the thread of memory. And you cut off that thread, your world doesn't exist anymore. This is how we live. That example is given to make a point. So, you see, for example, you look at something in a particular way. Only you look at that something in that way. Nobody else looks at that in that way. I am just explaining how the world is a very private world. For example, the husband looks at his wife in a particular way. That way, he alone looks at her. Nobody in this world looks at her in that way. Same is the case with everything else. So just I am explaining how what you call the world is a very personal world. In that, you take a small part and make it your own, keep the rest as the other, and it is alien, and therefore you are afraid of it. And you desire a few things in the world which is the other, which is not owned by you. Whatever is not owned by you, in that world you desire a few things and struggle to gain them, and then afraid of that world. Sometimes I wonder, we live in fear, we live in fear, and we are afraid of the world in which we live. But if you observe a fish in the ocean, If you observe how it is moving, how gracefully it is moving, the ocean is infinite, very big it is. And it is living in a small part of that ocean. But the fish doesn't seem to be afraid of this huge ocean. It doesn't seem to be afraid. It looks as if it is not afraid. It is at home in the ocean. It is at home. Whereas we are not at home in this world. We are very insecure in this world. We are afraid of the world in which we live. That is how we live a whole life. That is because of what is called the fragmentation. We live in a fragmented world. In the childhood, we are trained like that by the family and the society also. In the childhood, when I was going to take a train and go to the college, so parents tell their children, be careful on the platform. There will be thieves on the platform. There will be thieves. And therefore, I come to the railway platform. It is a lot of hustle and bustle in India. Too many people on the platform, crowded platform. And I look around. There are many human beings, but I don't see them as human beings. Every human being on the platform is a potential thief. That is how I look at that, people on the platform. And then when the train comes, every person on the platform is a potential competitor. And therefore, I have to be one step ahead of everybody else. Otherwise, they grab what I have to get. What a way to live a life. When we grow up, we take it to the caste, community, this and that. To the religion. One religious group is afraid of another religious group. In India, we feel very suspicious of other religious groups because they are out to get us. That is how we live. You see? Can you see the fragmentation with which we live? Now, all of this is all right. I mean, you can understand, everybody is living pretty much the same way. What is so big deal about it? My only complaint is, you claim that you are a student of Vedanta. That is where the whole problem comes. And you occasionally say, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. That's why I say it is purely conceptual. What we call Vedanta is a bunch of words corresponding to a set of concepts. Only that much. It has no connection with the reality. Whereas for a jnani, the situation is entirely different. For him, the entire world is myself. This is called Sarvatma Bhava. There are two states. Two states of realization. In the realization itself, there are two states. One is Viveka Bhava. Bhava is feeling. One is Viveka Bhava. The second is Sarvatma Bhava. I have seen quite often, not only the students of Vedanta, I say like this, please don't mind, okay? You please don't find fault with me. This is my natural way of speaking. I see many students of Vedanta, and quite often some teachers of Vedanta also. Teachers of Vedanta means what? They dabble with some Vedanta for a year or two and start teaching, It is not a big deal. If you want, you can become the teacher of Vedanta after these 5 days are over. Who will prevent you? Really? So, I come across the students and teachers both of Vedanta. So, they don't seem to know these two things. The Viveka Bhava and Sarvatma Bhava. They seem to be very confused about these two things. I felt like that. I don't tell in a class I am saying. I don't go and address a person and say like that. That is not the proper way. In a class only I am saying. And this I discuss now and finish this topic. Viveka Bhava is also called Sadhana Paksha. Sadhana Paksha means the state of seeking. We are all sadhakas, people talk of sadhana. We have to do sadhana and get knowledge and all that. Viveka Bhava is the state of understanding, studying and seeking. Sarvatma Bhava is called Siddha Paksha. It is the state of self-realization. So first you go through Viveka Bhava and then you graduate into Sarvatma Bhava. You are a liberated soul, a self-realized soul. That is the step. In the Viveka Bhava, what is myself and what is non-self? What is the self and what is the non-self? That is Viveka. Viveka is discrimination. You discriminate. What is the self and what is non-self? You see, there is a sofa. You say sofa, fine. Nothing wrong with it. But if you say my sofa, means you have connected an inanimate thing to the Atma. You should not connect like that. Sofa is a non-self. You cannot connect it to the self. Unless you become the sofa yourself. Do you become the sofa? No. Then why do you say my sofa? It is not your sofa, it is sofa. Home. It is house or home, whatever you call it. I am not teaching some religion here. If I teach some religion, then house. You have a wife and children, then it is a home. And then if you have a God there and you worship, that becomes a very spiritual home or religious home. Then you do this, do that, put these symbols, that is religion. I am not teaching religion and culture. I am teaching Vedanta. I say it is not my house, it is house, not my house. See the difference between it? It is not my house. You cannot say my house, you can only say house. You can still live under its roof, but you cannot say my house, because it is the non-self, not connected to the self. Therefore, the word mine, there is nothing which I can call mine. Nirmamaha. Nothing is mine. Nothing means nothing. Even the dress that I am wearing is not mine. The shirt that I am wearing is not mine. It is not my shirt. It is just a shirt. It is not my shirt. Then body, it's not my body, just a body. There are bodies and bodies and bodies. This is one more body, closer. Other bodies are a bit distant. This is closer in my vision. In my awareness, other bodies, they are a bit different or distant. This body is a bit closer, not my body. Then mind, the mind, not my mind, not my mind, the mind. Did you get the Viveka? The level to which the Viveka is taken? The Viveka is taken to such a sublime height that you declare to yourself, nothing is mine. Nothing is mine. Now you look at that verse where he says, Athava nacha kinchana. Nothing is mine. This is Viveka. Because the self versus the non-self. So what is the non-self? The entire world is the non-self. The clothes are also the non-self. The body is the non-self. The mind is the non-self. Therefore, nothing is mine. What is left now? Everything is covered. Nothing is mine. I stand apart. I stand aloof. I stand alone. Aham ekaha. He says that in the verse. Aham ekaha. Nothing is mine. Not only with reference to physical objects and relations, etc., you say nothing is mine, but also with reference to the ideas of the mind, a particular idea. It is not my idea, it is idea. It's not my caste. It's a caste. Caste is an idea only, right? Religion is another idea. These are all mind-made. Thought creates a religion. Thought is very powerful. It is so powerful. Thought puts man on the moon. Thought puts the man on the moon. Thought constructs a 200-story building. In Dubai you have a building, you know. I never saw it, just I read a little about it. I don't have any wish to see it also. So that building, who created that building? The thought has created that building. That is the power of thought. And finally, the thought creates a religion. Really. Therefore, when you say my religion, means you have identified with the mind. You should not do that. You don't do that. A jnani doesn't do that. There are religions, and religions. That's all. A jnani doesn't belong to a particular religion. Then they vary sarvam khalvidam brahma. Therefore, in sadhana paksha, you assiduously dismiss everything as not mine. It is non-self, not mine. Not only the physical things and relations, but also caste, creed, race, religion, everything, not mine. You see, one time in the immigration, the person asked me, what do you do? I teach. Are you a religious teacher? I felt like saying no. Then he will be a bit surprised. If I say yes, the job will be done. Therefore I said yes. But I did not feel like saying yes. Did not feel like. I wanted to tell him no. I teach philosophy. Some people don't like the word philosophy. Can you believe it? Somebody advised me, don't use the word philosophy. I said, go and sit on the tree. Who are you to tell me not to use the word philosophy? I use it. Words also I have to take permission. Kya baat hai? So I teach philosophy. What philosophy? Okay, Indian philosophy, you take it like that. In immigration that is enough. Okay? I teach universal philosophy, not Indian philosophy. So, therefore, you don't say my religion, a religion, that's all. I am a human being. And I am the living being. And then I am the being absolute. That is what I am. Aham Brahmasmi. Therefore, nothing is mine. Nothing is me. That is the Viveka Bhava. That is the sadhana. You have to do that sadhana. So, I started life with a particular caste identification. Then I have dispelled it. Now no more caste identification. That is sadhana. Then a religious identification. I dismiss it. No more religious identification. That is sadhana. No more creed identification. That is sadhana. No more gender identification. That is sadhana. Like that. Nothing is mine. That is sadhana paksha, what we call viveka bhava. You practice it well, then you know what happens. Everything is mine. When no particular religion is my religion, then all religions are my religions. You see the beauty of it? So, because Hindus are trying to worship their version of God, Christians are trying to worship their version of God. You see, the two soldiers are fighting with a sword and what is that? They hold in the hand a shield. A shield and a sword. Okay? So, they are fighting with the sword. How the fight started, this person said, the color of your shield is red. A said to B, the color of your shield is red. B says, no, the color of my shield is not red, it is yellow. the color of your shield is blue, he says to A. This man says, no, the color of my shield is green. They are fighting on that. The idea is, this man cannot see the other side of his own shield. That man cannot see the other side of his own shield. Got it? That is how these religious people fight with each other. So these two soldiers, not seeing the other side of his own shield, fight about it with each other. Similarly, we fight with other religious groups. Everybody is worshipping his own, her own version of God. Any version is not the real God. All are so many versions of God only. They are not the real God. Can they take to the real God? Can. Practiced properly? Can. Need not also. If you practice improperly, need not also. Worshipping the Christ can take you to the truth. Worshipping Shiva can take you to the truth. But you don't do it properly. Worshipping Shiva also cannot take you to the truth. Worshipping Christ also cannot take you to the truth. Therefore, when I do not belong to a particular religion, all religions are mine. I do not belong to a particular sect. All sects are mine. I told you like the wild crane. What the parrot in the cage knows, the freedom of the wild crane, it cannot know. All religions are my religions. All people are my people. All wealth is my wealth. All possessions are my possessions. The entire universe is my universe. This is called Sarvatma Bhava. All life is my life. All existence is my existence. My existence includes all existence. When I say I am, to begin with, this 5 feet 10 inches thing, is this particular existence is myself. But then my family existence is also myself. My community existence is also myself. My caste existence is also myself. My religion existence is also myself. My region existence is myself. My national existence is myself. The entire universal existence is myself. That is the Sarvatma Bhava. Therefore, you say nothing is mine, you are free. You are not bound. You say all is mine, you are free, you are not bound. But there is a sequence for it. To begin with, you say nothing is mine. Ultimately, you realize all is mine. You can apply it to your dream state. In the dream state, all is mine. And also nothing is mine. The same thing applies to the waking state. In the waking state also, all is mine. Nothing is mine. That is the verse. And then another thing he says, you see, who makes this body evident? Body shines, Shines means becomes evident. It becomes evident. It becomes known. Body becomes known. Body is the known. There must be the quality of knowingness, without which the body cannot become the known. Body is the known. There must be the quality of knowingness, right? Then only the body becomes the known. In the absence of that quality of knowingness, the body doesn't become the known. The body doesn't say, I am the body. You said this is the body. Therefore, the body cannot be known by itself. In your light of knowingness, the body becomes the known. The same thing applies to the world also. The world doesn't say, I am the world. You say, this is the world. This is the one point you have to carefully understand. Who validates the world? Who says the world exists, world is? Who says? The world is. Okay, we agree, we all agree, the world is. But then, who says that the world is? The world says the world I am, the world says the world is. No. The world doesn't present itself. Oh, I am the world. You say the world is. Means, in your quality of knowingness, the world becomes the known. That quality of knowingness in which the world becomes the known. The quality of knowingness in which the body becomes the known. It is the same quality of knowingness, that inner awareness in which the small and also the big becomes the known. You see, you are sleeping. There is no body, there is no world. You see, the body and the world are together. You have to carefully understand it. When there is body, there is a world. When there is world, there is a body. You cannot have one without the other. You cannot have a body without the world. And you cannot have a world without the body. The body and the world, they come together and they sync together. Like you are sleeping, there is no body, there is no world. You become awake. The body and the world come up together. And you go to sleep again. Both dissolve. So they are together, like the upwards and the reverse of a coin. They are together. On one side is the body, on the other side is the world. May not be exactly the upwards and reverse of a coin, like a dipole. This side of the pole is the body, that side of the pole is the world. They are together. Both are known. The world is the known. The body is the known. Now, known how? In that quality of knowingness, the body is known, the world is known. And I am that quality of knowingness. I am not the body, I am not the world. That is the first statement. So he says, Ekaha prakashayami, I illuminate, enam deham tatha jagat. The way I illuminate this body, the same way I illuminate this world. From the other side, the way this body becomes the known in the quality of knowingness, the same way the world becomes the known in the quality of that knowingness. So you have to dwell upon that knowingness, upon that awareness, you have to dwell upon that. So there is a way of doing it. First to become aware of the body, and then become aware of the sensations, touch, etc. Then become aware of the thoughts. Become aware of the thoughts. Whatever thoughts are around, floating, you become aware of the thoughts. Then you become aware of emotions, because thoughts are very simple ones, but emotions are somewhat more complex. Therefore become aware of the emotions. Then become aware of the knowledge. Knowledge means intellect. Some knowledge is there, you know. So become aware of that. And then you go beyond the intellect also. And then you become aware of the awareness itself. You reach that stage where you become aware of the awareness itself. That is the quality of knowingness. That is you. And that you illuminate the body as well as the world. In that quality of knowingness, this body comes to light, it becomes evident, as much as the world becomes evident. I am that quality of awareness. You have to shift the focus from the body or body identified self to that awareness. You have to shift the focus. That's why you need first Vairagya, because in the absence of Vairagya, your focus is caught in the things of the world. You are caught in the things of the world. Whole day, whole week, whole month, whole year, whole life, caught in the things of the world. Need not be grahasthas, it will be sannyasis also. This is my ashram, this is my God, this is my temple. and this is my culture, my religion, and then my sishyas, my sect, my this, my that. This is how a sannyasi's life could be consumed by this kind of a fragmentation. Need not be family people only. Therefore, this my, this you develop a dispassion, a vairagya, to the point of saying nothing is mine. To that point, you develop vairagya. Then you come to body. Now viveka, that is vairagya. Nothing is mine. It is vairagya. Then viveka. The body is not the self. The mind, not the self. The intellect, not the self. The purity of quality of pure knowingness is the self. That is my true self. There, that is your homestead, and there you plant yourself. You put yourself there. You stay put in that quality of awareness. That is you. That is the Atma. Yatha prakashayamyakaha dehamenam tatha jagat. So you arrive at it by saying, nothing is mine. And once you abide in it, you can as well say, everything comes to light in this pure quality of awareness, and therefore, whatever comes to light in this knowingness, all of that is mine. You can say that. So first practice viveka bhava. Bhava is the inner feeling. And then practice, then you arrive at sarvatma bhava. So start with viveka bhava and arrive at sarvatma bhava. So you have to start with viveka bhava. Without practicing viveka, the discrimination, nothing is mine. Without practicing that, you simply parrot, oh, everything is Brahman, all is God, all is God. But you look at that person, he is my enemy. Then where is all is God? Now how can all is Sarvam Brahma is just a mouthful of expression, nothing meaningful. Doesn't sound, it doesn't ring with the truth, because you remain in fragmentation. When you remain in multiple kinds of fragmentation, so Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma has no meaning. It's just parroting an expression. A very valuable expression, but just like parroting, has no value. You should be able to say, nothing is mine. Then you will be able to say, everything is mine. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. You will be able to say. We'll continue. Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamada Vishishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti